Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, 10:48 a.m. Eastern Time. Last day of the year. I feel like dog shit. I didn't sleep worth shit. I got a sore throat, sore ears, headache, diarrhea. So that's all. It's great. Going through my monthly kind of panic attack about the podcast. Fuck. Uh, just I just get so in my own head sometimes. I don't fucking know. I mean, I don't know. It's very frustrating and depressing and anxiety inducing that the show's 5 years old and it's still not entirely up on its own 2 feet. It's still, I mean, I get like $50 a month from Rumble. And I wanted to say, I mean, they fucking sponsor retards like Fresh and Fit or the proven pedophiles like Dr. Disres. What is that? That doesn't get me anywhere. Talking about it, that does nothing. It's envy is what it is. There's no holier than thou in any of this shit. And yeah, so just gonna tag other sponsors. Not tag, I mean just ping people. I mean, it's worked out thus far. And it's always, you know what it feels like? It kind of feels like hell divers, like extracting from hell divers. Like it kind of feels like extracting from hell divers on like the highest difficulty. And it's like one of the teammates is down with no revives. You don't have any more stims. You're kind of out of ammo. You're trying not to aggro everyone. And there's like a Hulk and an Eye of Sauron. And you're just like, it's like when you start playing really conservatively. You start like taking cover behind every rock, peeking, putting it on single shot. And then as you get to like exfil, and you're just holding off the hordes. And then when you finally jump in, and you're just like screaming. You're like, I cannot fucking believe we made it in. Now that I'm saying it, it's those are the best ones. The quick and easies are forgettable. It's the like heroic Mogadishu Mile ones that you remember. I wish I had a fucking RPG. I'm gonna blow up the next fire truck I fucking hear. Those are the memorable ones that make you feel alive. And so like, God damn it, I think I'm talking myself into this. Those are the ones where you really push to the limits. Like when I would play basketball in middle school and I started to get good, my dad would tell me I needed to go enroll in like a higher rank or like a more difficult league because if it's easy, I'm not learning. I need to be out of breath on like the verge of vomiting. I need to be getting fucking missing every shot, getting blocked, losing all the rebounds because that is where you'll become better. And the same thing I think like Jocko Willink said about like special forces training, Green Beret, Navy SEALs, Rangers, is that you want people to die in training. Not nonstop. You don't want that. That's bad. You don't want that. But you do kind of want someone dying like every other year in training. And not for the purpose of dying, but it means you're still training on the knife's edge. Now, if everyone's dying, that's bad. But if someone's still dying like every couple of years, that means like you are still at the absolute cutting edge of like how far you can go. Like in World of Warships, the out of bounds is just like a glowing white line. And because the game takes place in the middle of the ocean, there's no boundaries like mountains. It's you just come you're in the ocean and you just see a white line. You can't go past that. But if you wanted to go wide around, you would go to where you're brushing up against the white line because that means you're truly pushing it as far as it can go. And so I think if I had a 9 to 5 and I was just, I don't know, doing a little bit of graphic design on the side or like doing a little bit of podcasting on the side, like that would feel cool. And if it made a couple bucks, that would feel cool. I'd be like, oh, this is kind of an interesting thing. But I wouldn't be able to say like if somebody said, well, why don't you do that full time? And I go, well, it doesn't really, you can't, doesn't make it work. Well, that's the idea of never having anyone dying in training. Like you wouldn't really know. And I think for some people, I think for most people, that's a non-issue. And I don't mean that in like a, I don't mean that in like a, everyone else is a sheep. No, not at all. The more time that goes on, the more I see the sanity in just having a 9 to 5 and finding someone you love. Like I'm starting to see the not just the value, but kind of like the overwhelming supremacy of that. But I'm also a crazy person. And I'm saying this because I don't feel good. I didn't sleep well last night. I'm worried about the money. But I also know me. The moment I rest up, the moment my sore throat goes away, I just get like I can't even like working at the liquor store. I was like seeing how many things I could stop. Like I can't not do that. And I mean, it's probably a character flaw or it's a character neutral. It's whatever you make of it. Um, but there is something I guess about just being on like the bleeding edge that makes me know like I'm pushing as hard as I can. Doing the podcast, the game stream network, like it lets me know that I'm pushing as hard as I can. And yeah, the whole Helldivers analogy, God, I fucking feel good. The whole Helldivers about like those are the ones you remember where you barely get out alive. That's true. They are. But I also kind of don't mind when those experiences are relegated to like Helldivers or getting to the airport on time. When it's your ability to pay rent, it starts to kind of wear on you. But I also know it's going to work. I mean, every year the podcast gets more views in the most recent year than all prior years combined. So, so from December 2019 to December 2023, the show got about 12.7 million downloads. I just looked at it this morning. From December 2023 to December 2024, it hit 28 million. So 16 in the last year. So first 4 years, 12 million. So roughly 3 million a year. This year, 16 million. So like a million and a half, million and a third a month. So by that estimation, the show will get about 28 million views and impressions in 2025, which I don't know how it will do. I don't. So the podcast also always does succeed in just truly like the most kind of mind-boggling way. Why am I still drinking out of this if I'm sick? So I don't know. I mean, I always think of this one clip because I just watched a documentary with my family over Christmas Eve about the 2004 ALCS where the Red Sox come back 3 games down, win four straight, then go and sweep and win the World Series. And I can't find it, but I remember watching like as it happened in 2004. I was in eighth grade, and I remember like I was on Nesson or .com or something, and it was a dude uh after they won, no, after they lost game three. And everyone outside Fenway Park was at Yawkey Way are all just depressed. And there's one dude, he's probably on coke, but whatever. He had, I just remember I think he had a white flat bill on. It was like a white, I don't know if it was Red Sox or Patriots, but it was a white flat bill with the logo. And I just always remember the line of him going, because this is like the beginning of like the Patriots dynasty. And everyone's drunk and depressed, and there's this one dude, and he just goes, I don't know what the Patriots record was, but they had set a record for the most games won in a row or something. It was like 15 or 17. And I just remember the camera pans to him and he goes, Patriots win 17 games in a row. Why can't we win four? 17 games in a row. Who says we can't win four? And he's not riding high on the game four win. They're down three. They just lost game three. And in hindsight, I'm looking at it and I'm realizing, well, he's probably on a fucking ton of coke. But if you ain't first, you're last. Like that doesn't make any sense. I was high. Like I'm realizing this has been like a guiding quote in my life. Some dude's probably fucking OD'd on fentanyl. Whatever. He goes, Patriots won 17 in a row. Why can't I win? Or why can't we win four? And they did. And they won and they did the whole thing. So I guess I kind of think of it and I'm like, I was 30, living at home during the pandemic, doing the podcast, working at a liquor store, legitimately wanting to blow my brains out. And like out of the blue, the investor reaches out to me and is like, hey, I love your show. I'll pay you to do it for 3 years. And then this past April, when that funding ran out, 2 days before the 3 year contract ran out, Mike Lindell's frank speech was like, yeah, we'll pay you for a year. So I guess I'm kind of looking at it and like, that was crazy. The whole pay for a year with 2 days left in a whatever 1,200 day or 1,100 and whatever day contract. What's even crazier was living at home, having already been at home for 5 years. Parents are getting ready to retire, and I'm doing the podcast. I'm in the low 100s episodes, working at a liquor store, and some dude reaches out to me and offers 3 years. So I guess I'm trying to look at it like Patriots won 17 in a row. Why can't we win four? I'm like, you've already pulled the fucking rabbit out of the hat twice. Why can't I do it again? I think I need more than just like a year of funding because I was pretty. I mean, obviously, I worked extremely hard when I got that investor contract. I did what? I think I did close to 1,200 episodes after getting that contract. But there was some breathing room, knowing that I had 36 months. Still worked very hard, but there was just a little breathing room. I think that's what I need is just like it's good to have a fire under your ass. It's undeniably good. But I think I just need like a little bit of breathing room. I would fucking kill for just another 3 years. Just somebody reaches out to me and's like, here's 60 grand a year for 3 years. I have no idea. So you want to see how the sausage is made? This is the behind the scenes. I have had people like, what's it like behind the scene? It must be like, I'm like, no, it's horrifying. Every day is just terror. It's 11 a.m. and I've already fucking had like a mini panic attack and called my mom. Like, why do I do this? I don't. Whatever. I also know two people from my high school class, two people younger than me in the last month have passed away from like, genetics, but still. I think one was an accident, but my age, just done. Not suicide, not drugs, just done. Both like very well very well put together. Just done. I gotta go shower, but I'll wrap it up with I'll wrap it up with this. Um, right after my not right a couple months after my brother died in 2014. I remember I began thinking like, what would happen if whatever the day was, called October 1st. What would happen if October 1st? Well, let's just say today, December 31st. What would happen if on December 31st, 2014, a doctor told you you had exactly 10 years to live? Don't worry about the unrealisticness of it. Just some disease, and everyone knows it's exactly 10 years to the hour. What would you do? And I thought it was an interesting thought experiment because it wasn't you have a month to live or a year to live where you're like, fuck it. I mean, I'd max out credit cards, go travel around the world, I mean, hold my loved one, but do drugs and orgies, skydiving, go into a combat zone. I mean, like, what would you do? And then it was also, but yeah, not a year or a week, but also not you have 50 years because that's abstract. 10 years was just, it was such an interesting middle ground because if you had 6 months, you could either max out credit cards or I bet your family would probably be like, yeah, dude, I'll fucking pay for you to go to Hawaii if you want, or friends or something. But 10 years that's a little too long of a time to like be a burden on others. You'd get chased down by debtors or loan sharks at worst. You also couldn't do like heroin nonstop. Saying you're 10 years is a long time. You wouldn't want to necessarily eat McDonald's all day every day because then you wouldn't be able to move by year two. But you wouldn't live for 20 or 30 years down the road. You wouldn't go, well, one day I'll get married. You wouldn't go, maybe one day I'll start a passion project. You wouldn't do that because you go, no, I got 10 years. I got 8 years left. I got 6.5 years left. I still got some time, but I got 6.5 years left. So it'd be this weird balance between carpe diem, but also saving it for a rainy day. You couldn't just say, yeah, I'm probably gonna do this job for 40 years. And you couldn't do that. You'd be like, well, I got, 5 years and 8 months left. So I would imagine you'd probably take like 3-day weekends, probably really live it up. You wouldn't really worry about savings. You want enough to be like, I want to go to a couple music festivals this year. But you put it in the stock market, you go up, you take your principal out, and then you go party. But it was just I thought it was just such an interesting, because a year is too short, 50 years is too long. It's just enough that you couldn't outright be a burden, and you couldn't outright max out credit cards. But you also wouldn't push things too far down the road because the years would go by very quickly. You'd have a lot of time to think about it, your own mortality and morality, I suppose. And it would just be this middle kind of maximization of like living to the fullest, but also ethically. You wouldn't be cheating. Oh yeah, Amex is a trillion. You're still taking money that isn't yours. Shut the fuck up, you communist. But you'd have some real time, but not a lot. Well, that's a great thought experiment, but there's no way to know you'd die 10 years to the day. But then I thought, you have no guarantee that 10 years to the day you don't have an aneurysm or you don't get in a car crash. So you might actually be 10 years, you might be into the 10-year thing. And I thought of that fall 2014, which would mean that I'm at the end of the 10 years. Now, what did I do? Well, it took me 5 years to start the podcast, 2014 to 2019. And then the subsequent 5 years have been this. So, I mean, was it worth it to me? I, th I think it was. And I don't want to fucking, I don't want this to be like a red flag, big time. No, no, this is not, no, no, I'm perfectly happy. But yeah, for 5 years, I kind of really, I decided not to go to medical school. I took a ton of psychedelics, not on 5 occasions, but on those occasions, I took a lot. I kind of went the full hedonism. I gained 70 or 80 pounds. I grew my hair out, got addicted to benzos, was drinking and smoking pot nonstop. Hit rock bottom, became a burden, moved back home, and then tried several passion projects, writing, comedy, video editing, photo editing, and then started the podcast. And for the last 5 years, the podcast has been work, but it's also been the craziest kind of psychedelic trip of a life. I mean, I've met Alex Jones and Charlie Duke and Mike Lindell. I can text Roseanne Barr. I've had, been visited by the FBI. I've fucking just done crazy interview. And it's just like, it's been wild. It's been up and it's been down. To have a podcast pay for my own rent is like wild. I get to do a game stream. As far as like a 10-year kind of window goes, yeah, I'd say it was pretty fucking fun. So the question then arises, do I die of an aneurysm on December 31st, 2034? I have no idea. But what would I do if I had that 10 years, 10 years from today? Would I wrap up the podcast and go get, because like when I get anxiety, I really start to get drawn to the idea of just quietly shutting it down, letting it stay up. I mean, if it makes money, cool. But just kind of going and getting a 9 to 5 and enjoying that consistency, security. But if I knew I only had 10 years, I'd be like, well, consistency and security for what? I only have 10 years, 34 to 44. I'm 34 years old right now. So 2024 to 2034, the date that I'm 34 right now, I'd be 44. Well, I mean, no, I don't know if it would be. If I had 10 years, I wouldn't, you know, take up drinking again because I've been sober almost a year. I was having panic attacks. But is this motherfucker really backing out of a turn? Jesus Christ. Oh, he's parking. No, he's turning. I wouldn't pay attention to shit like that. We only have 10 years. I mean, you probably want to get into psych. No, I did the psychedelic thing and it was good. It was fun. But I got the message, so I hung up the phone. Would I go work a really safe job and just hoard away money? No, because why? You don't need the money and you'd be dead in 10 years. I also wouldn't want to be a burden on people again. I wouldn't want to have to move in with my parents. I wouldn't want to have to lean on, I wouldn't want to burn relationships. I lost almost every friend I had and entirely my own fault, no one else's. No, I wouldn't chase the dragon of benzos and alcohol and McDonald's. It goes away. I'd probably do what I'm doing right now. Try to be the best brother and son I can be. Try to get closer to God. Try to be more respectful and loving. Yeah, I mean, this is what I would do. So, so this is what I would do. and it's also good to kind of be pushing yourself to the bleeding. So then what is the concern? I don't know. I think that's what I would do. So, I mean, maybe I should just be grateful for a body that works, a brain that works to a degree. Be thankful for my family. Be thankful for God. Be thankful for God coming into my heart and showing me a better existence. And when the show does work, wouldn't it make sense that it would be this difficult and this arduous and this time consuming years and years and years? When it does work and I have a ton of money and I retire in my 30s, wouldn't it make sense that, like, yeah, there was no easy way to this? Like, that's so, like, yeah, if it was easy, you would do it. Like, rationally, isn't that kind of what it would be? Like, no one looks at like a bodybuilder with like perfect body and be like, what's the shortcut of that? Be like, there isn't. At best, it's steroids, and that's still thousands of hours in the gym. So I don't know. I gotta go shower and meditate, and I got a show. I don't know. I just did a show.